Hey guys, so my external hard drive enclosure right here is totally dying on the fritz. It is on its last leg, which absolutely sucks. But silver lining gave me a cheap excuse to buy this guy right here, which is apparently a MediaSonic ProBox. So if you would like to watch me unbox this and play around with it a little bit, stick around and I will do just that right after the break. What's up everybody, Daniel Day back again with another video for DDay Gaming, and today I'm going to be unboxing this guy right here, which as I mentioned in the intro is a ProBox from MediaSonic. But more specifically, as far as the model number goes, this is apparently an HF7-SU3S3, which is quite a mouthful, but basically all that means is this is the latest and greatest 4-bay external drive enclosure from MediaSonic. Now, most of you that have been following my channel for quite a while may be wondering to yourself, Dan, why in the world are you unboxing an external hard drive enclosure on your video game themed YouTube channel? The name is DDay Gaming after all. And hey, that is a totally fair question. One thing that a lot of you may not know about me is that in addition to playing all sorts of video games and live streaming for you guys and making videos just like this one, I also really love this thing called Plex media server. If you don't know what that is, look it up, but it's basically a fantastic way to organize all of your media and play it back on just about any device. And in addition to that, and honestly, I'm probably stretching the rules a little bit here, but all of these videos that I put together for you guys and archives of the live streams have to be stored somewhere. And up until very recently, all of that type of stuff has been stored on this guy right here, which is a drive dock from OWC. And honestly, I've been very happy with it, but here lately, as I mentioned earlier, it has started kind of overheating and shutting itself down. And that kind of sucks, as you can imagine. Now, in all fairness, this thing does not have a fan in it, and plugged into it are two 8TB Western Digital black hard drives, which are known as being some of the hottest running hard drives on the planet. So I'm not 100% sure if the drive dock is actually malfunctioning or if it's some sort of safety feature intended to save the data on my drives. But in any case, it has become clear to me that I needed something with a fan. And on top of that, because of all the videos like this, the live streams, and my Plex media server, the combined 16 terabytes right here is basically full at this point. So I was going to need to add more hard drives, and this guy only holds 2. So took to Google, did a whole bunch of research, and found that essentially, I think what I really need doesn't exist. Honestly, it seems that each and every external hard drive enclosure that I have found has got a slew of really negative reviews indicating that they just didn't work right out of the box, or they failed shortly thereafter. I'm beginning to think that nobody makes a perfect drive enclosure for me. But this appears to be about the closest that I'm going to be able to get. Sporting USB 3.0, an eSATA port, room for 4 3.5-inch hard drives, and most importantly, a fan. I am really hoping against hope that this thing actually operates correctly and will allow me to run 4 8TB Western Digital black hard drives in the future, which honestly at that point, if I need more storage, I really need to just admit I have a problem, right? And I figured, why not make an unboxing video and bring you guys along for the journey. So that's what we're gonna do here today. I'm gonna go ahead and get the lights and the camera moved around so we can give this guy a proper unboxing. Grab a knife and I will be right back. Okay, so before we actually cut the box open, let's take a real quick look at the packaging. Looks like on the front here, we've got a picture of the actual ProBox itself. We have got some other little markings here. Looks like it'll take up to 4 8TB hard drives, so 32 terabytes total. Apparently, it'll actually take drives that are bigger than that based on some stuff I looked up on MediaSonic's website. It'll totally handle 8TB drives as well. At least this new model will. Obviously up to 4 hard drives, supports SATA 3. It's got power sync, which actually allows you to hit a couple of buttons here on the front and control whether this thing shuts off or not when you turn your PC off, or it hibernates, which is pretty cool. It's got a fan that is a smart fan, but you can also set it on low, medium, or high manually, which is totally what I intend to do, and you can switch between eSATA and USB just by hitting a button on the front. Now, one thing that I did notice when I was researching this and all of the other Pro boxes is apparently this new model has a lot less annoying LEDs on the front. Apparently the older model of this actually had a bunch of blue LEDs all the way across the front that lit up for the activity light that apparently was pretty annoying. So didn't want to deal with that, so spent the extra money and bought the new one for that and several other reasons. Now on the side here, nothing really interesting, just basically the same thing, just shows you kind of the back and the front with the door open, and on the side here just looks like a chart to explain the differences in speed between USB 3.0, eSATA, and USB 2.0. Looks like 2.0 is 480 megabits per second, eSATA is 6 gigabits per second, and USB 3.0, which is what we will be using this for, is 5.0 gigabits per second. The back is just a bunch of white markings and all that. Nothing very interesting. Nothing interesting here on the top either. Okay, so with all of that said, let's go ahead and cut the tape here. All right, get the knife out of the way. Let's see. Looks like this whole thing comes out of here. Okay, so we've got a box with what looks like all sorts of interesting stuff right there, which we'll get out and show off in a second. And then looks like the actual unit itself. Let me get this junk out of the way. Hitting the camera. Cardboard all over the desk. Just fantastic, right? All right, so go ahead and open this up. Huh, you know what? That is actually quite a bit smaller than I thought it would be. Gonna check that out back there. All right, so let me go ahead and get the camera moved around, get this stuff laid out on the desk. I'll be right back. Okay, so went ahead and got everything in the box kind of laid out on the desk so we could take a real quick look. Looks like you have got a two-piece power supply right here, the cord, and then the actual power supply itself. It has got an odd looking connector here on the end. Not 100% sure what's going on there, but hey, as long as it works, I am happy. In addition to that, you have got these little guys right here that you actually mount to the hard drive so that you can install them in this unit, and that requires some screws, and luckily there's a whole bunch of them right here, in addition to a screwdriver. Also, this is apparently metal, which I thought was a very nice touch, and you've got a USB 3.0 cable included in the box, as well as an eSATA cable right here. So basically, everything you could possibly need to get this bad boy up and running is in the package, and I always like it when that's the case. You've also got some sort of little warning thing right here, probably a stop, don't return it to store, and the instruction manual right here. So I'm going to peruse the instruction manual very quickly and see if I can't figure out how these things connect to the drives, and we'll go ahead and swap them over and see what that looks like. Okay, so spent a little bit of time going through the manual, and hopefully I got this all figured out at this point. Got these little raily things attached right here to the fronts of both hard drives, and manual says to open this magnetic little door thing up, so let's do that right here. That, by the way, is just a piece of plastic to protect the front. That's why it's all shiny. Then it says to push down and pull this little metal plate out, take the cardboard out, and then put the drives in with drive number 1 always at the top. I gotta tell you already, I'm not 100% sure if you can see down in there, but not super sure how well this thing's gonna ventilate. It's got a fan in it, but you see that PCB back there, the blue in the back? Yeah, I see a ribbon cable up here and the fan back there, but you'd think that that would kind of block all the airflow. I suppose time will tell, right? There's the little magnet, it looks like, for holding that down. Okay, so not really sure which one of these is drive 1 or drive 2, so we're just gonna kind of go ahead and push those down in here. This may not really be the best angle to do this at, since I'm trying to get it on camera. I was hoping for some sort of click or something. I did not really feel that, but we'll just roll with it. So apparently you put these drives in here, and then you take this metal plate right here, and somehow put it back in, close the door, plug it in, and then let's see if it blows up or anything like that, right? Okay, give me just a second. I'm gonna go ahead and get this connected up to the computer, see if my drives show up or if I end up having to reformat everything yet again. Hopefully not, these drives are ginormous. I will be right back with some initial impressions. Okay, so went ahead and got everything connected up to the computer, tested everything out, and everything is just working super great. Actually, quite a bit easier than I was afraid of. I thought maybe I'd have to reformat all of my hard drives, but luckily that was not the case because I reformatted them to the correct format when I started using them with my last drive dock. But keep in mind, for any of you out there that are viewing this, that are maybe considering purchasing something like this device right here, if your drives are formatted regular old FAT32 or NTFS with an MBR type partition, you are going to have to reformat them to work with this thing, so plan accordingly. Outside of that, it was super easy to set the sync mode. This thing basically at this point, when I shut the computer off, it just goes into kind of a sleep mode of sorts, and then when I turn the computer back on, it turns itself back on or wakes itself back up, which is just super great. Apparently the older model of this device actually required that you turn it back on each and every time you shut your computer down. I am thankful that I'm not going to have to deal with that with the new model. Thankfully, the LED lights on this thing are not super annoying like I have read they were on the last model. They are very subtle. They do not blink all the time, and there is no big blue LED bar running across the front of it, which is just great. I did want to mention the fan noise. It is actually pretty quiet when it's on auto and fan level 1, although if you manually crank it up to fan level 3, it can get relatively loud, not super annoying. Certainly not as loud as my computer fans can get when I'm playing a 4K game or something like that. But just be aware there is a little bit of noise if you've got the fans cranked up all the way. As far as build quality goes, it's pretty nice. You know, I mean, the main casing of it is metal. There's a lot of little plastic parts. I do like that the door on the front is magnetic. That's a nice touch. And it is smaller than I thought it would be, which is nice as well. It's kind of odd that the power plug plugs in on the side instead of the back. It's just kind of sticking out the side there. But I suppose in the grand scheme of things, that's not that big of a deal. Now, time will tell if this thing holds up or if it craps up an hour after I finish editing this video and putting it up on YouTube. So if anything like that does happen, I will go ahead and post an update video on my channel. Just wanted to say thanks if you've made it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. I know this is not the typical kind of thing that I cover here on my YouTube channel, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to unbox this thing, play around with it, figure it out anyway, and maybe, just maybe, if I take you along for the journey, it might help one of you out there. So hopefully it did. I also wanted to give a special shout out to my subscribers. You guys rock. And for anybody watching this video that has not subscribed, I would love to encourage you to maybe poke around, check out some of my other videos, and if my particular brand of rambling is your cup of tea, maybe consider subscribing. It is totally free for you, and it helps this guy out quite a bit. For any of you that would like to find me other places on the internet, all of my links are in the description box below. I'll also see if I can work a little bit of video editing magic and have something pop up down here at the bottom of the screen with that information. So that's it for me, guys. Once again, just wanted to say thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one.